Transfiguration is such an important and understated superpower that we have as humans to be able to see the divine in the other. Now, of course, anyone who's taken my play shops has the experience of this deep intimacy of divine revealing. But Transfiguration's really allowing us to see ourselves in the highest or truest frequency that we're able to, where each moment, in allowing ourselves to be revealed to ourselves in that way, we are able to commune with God. So some of the gifts, and if we imagined ourselves like alchemists, to be able to take anything in the world and transform that thing back into God, back into a frequency that is and always was with the divine. What a power that is. And to be able to take what we're given in life without aversion and without making that thing ourselves, like we would make love into a breadcrumb, while we are that loaf of bread and beyond that loaf of bread as well. But to reduce ourselves to that thing and objectify ourselves at the cost of the whole and call that love, right? The alchemist would take that thing, see it for what it is, but also return it to its natural state, which is, in this case, the gold of God. Take it to its highest form. So in alchemy, this is what we're doing. We are transforming something. We're looking at it clearly. We're transforming it through the lens of our awareness that it is greater than what it is that we see, that we're looking at the potential and allowing the potential to self-actualize. We're taking that which we see and we are transforming it, then we're sublimating it. Where in that sublimation, it moves into another state of being, sublimated, and then it's transformed. It's transmuted into something else. So this alchemical process of taking something and making it something else is something we do all the time. I am not sure that we're aware that we have this as a superpower and that we do this all the time. Us being able to witness our own inner scientist and get that through our gaze and through our intention of seeing the divine, seeing the together, seeing the unity, seeing the connectedness in everything, with the intention of our heart to know our Creator. We begin to transform ourselves to be more like, this is not unlike idolizing, right? Where if we were thinking about Christianity and about becoming like Jesus, right, we would need to first know what Jesus was like, right? This, though, is without object, right? In a way, in time, the knowingness within us begins to take that awareness and move itself back into the highest form possible that it can connect with or know. As we allow ourselves to be purified by the love that we are, that we're receiving, that we're also intending to see and give back, I connect with, we too are transformed by this. So we can beautifully see how we were also like alchemists in the world. It reminds me, it's akin to that idea of having that little voice on our shoulder, like the good and evil kind of voice. But in this case, one is almost a temptation to choose something that would not be like our Creator. We know when we have chosen, like Indiana Jones, right? Like you have this drinking from the chalice of the Holy Grail. Like you have chosen wisely, right? So he's done this whole risk analysis in the whole tomb, and he's reasoning out, and it comes to this one, and then he's jumping off the ledge, basically like this is what I'm choosing. In a way, we have this voice too that is tempting us with reason. We use all of these ways of reasoning, and yet there's a place where we just jump off the ledge, right? And we know with that trust whether we've chosen well or not by how we feel, by the vibration that's resonant in us. Enough listening, like, oh, I did not choose, you did not choose wisely. Enough of this reasoning where we see that we didn't choose well, and we're needing to choose again, right? To just realign, like, oh, yeah. And it can be as simple as that, like, oh, yeah, let me reorient myself. That we get more and more where our discernment becomes more attuned, right? Between what we're choosing, we sense the vibration of it, what would lead us to what we're desiring, right? And what would take us away from what we're desiring. And another way of looking at that, like what we become in the process of the choosing, right? So if we become more like Jesus, let's say, in our choosing, the inner experience of that would demonstrate to us that we've chosen well. The beautiful thing, though, this is happening within us all the time if we pay attention, if we observe and we listen, we pause. That when we then, moving back to the alchemist, we start to observe that everything within our field of awareness, when we are aligned, when we are in unity, that all becomes like us than it does unalike us. And if there's an unalike, which is a perception, not the reality of the highest truth of ourselves, through our awareness is transfigured and transformed into the reality of what it is. It is attracted to the highest version of itself. When we hold the vision as the gatekeepers, as the vision keepers, as the knowers for ourselves, what comes into our field of awareness is also transformed and transfigured. The more pure that our awareness is, that our consciousness is, that the love is, that the unifying field is within and without, the more ease, comfort, safety, security people feel while they're around us, but also the fire that burns within one, the greater that is, of the light of awareness, of the truth of the self, the more that is gifted to those who come into the presence of the one who's awake, awakened, whose fire is brightly lit, who our fire is also alchemized through the gifting of those who are aware. There's a beauty to choosing to be an alchemist or allowing ourselves to be alchemized. Like this philosopher's stone of our heart, that when gifted back, the sacrifice that we're making is to gift, the sacrifice our lower, in an idea of lower, just to that which does not serve the highest. So we sacrifice that which does not serve the highest to serve that, to make room for that which would serve. And we do this all the time, aware or not aware of it. So my invitation is to remember that we are choosing all the time that which would serve. What do we give? What do we choose that serves the highest within ourselves, that also serves the highest outside of ourselves? Where the outer and the inner are the same and unified. Where this alchemist is present in an integrated aspect within the whole of us. Where discernment is always choosing, where our knowingness knows, and taking the plunge off the ledge, where we're faithfully following that which sustains us, sustains life. As we give more of that small self fulfilling for a greater self-awareness that serves the whole. The gifts of spirit, the gift of self, the inner states of being, of what we receive as a result of giving up the small sense, doesn't compare to what the world would desire to gift. And yet, until we are walking that as our own inner alchemist, as our own scientist, observing, is this true for me or not? We may not know. So the invitation is to start that discovery. When you make those choices and you're discerning, what's the gauge in which you're discerning by? What are you alchemizing? What are you turning and sacrificing the smaller sense of self where you want to lash out in the same frequency? And you pause with no aversion and you gift back something better and greater than what you received. That, friends, that's a mastery. Thank you.